Wealth is defined as my legacy being legendary, hereditary. I know you see me feeding my seeds, killing these weeds with determination, germination, purpose never vacant. I said at elevation, meditation, upward, universal guidance, most high to provide the substance, trying to reside within abundance. Lunches, dinner, and breakfast. The feeling of my stomach's essential, easing the hunger pains is the issue. So focus.
Go, go, get it, go, 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 go, get it, go, go, get it, go,
Welcome back, episode 17, Kindness University of Autism, Big Boxx
Lil Boxx.
Alright, welcome back. So picking up where we left off, wife was saying, just speaking on the difficulties of navigating through getting into the different networks, plugged into it, getting everything started. Let me tell you now, it's expensive financially and as far as your time. And the thing is these are things that's actually needed for autistic and spectrum disorder, young adults, teenagers, and kids. This is something that's needed for them to function in our already fixed, perceived society. And so that's just before going forward, I just want to speak of that. They need to make this a little bit more accessible to people, man. Like the money it costs, the time that it costs, the less resources it have, and the strain it puts on parents and guardians, man, it's real. So my heart goes out to everybody that's dealing with trying to get as much resources and a lot of things going for their loved ones dealing with spectrum disorder and autism and any type of neurodivergence.
Yeah.
So, okay. And anything else you wanted to add to that, Lau?
Just basically that I mentioned that it took a lot of work and it's still taking work just because the scheduling of things. So with us both working full-time jobs and having 5 kids, it's a lot going on. And a lot of the resources that are available, there are support groups, there are lots of organizations that are working to help and provide support for families, but some of them, obviously, they cost money for the different resources, for the groups. Some of the groups, a lot of times, of course, you're dealing with kids, so the hours of events or the operation hours are going to be typically during regular 9 to 5 work hours. So that's kind of been a tough point for us to navigate based on our work schedule and balancing that need plus the 4 other children.
4 other kids in regular life, and then be grateful for certain situations to where we're dealing with, whether it's jobs or dealing with different other opportunities, business opportunities, or your time or obligations. So you be gracious to those that deal with you and give you a little leeway and be understanding. So that's real, being grateful for that. Because without that and without these outlets, it would be even more of a task, especially with just Lil Boxx growing older and older. He'd be 14 years old in a month. And then after that, 40 more years, he's legally an adult. We ain't going to talk about that. We'll take our time on that. And that basically is a segue into the next thing we're just basically going to say is, as far as those different things, son, I'm going to get back to you, babe. What we just were talking about, dealing with the different social groups, different therapies, those different things like that. What do you feel when it comes to that? How do you feel about that when it comes to that?
I probably feel accepted by other autistic people who goes through the same things like I do.
Okay, so that's why you mostly want to be in that community, is because you feel like you're in somewhere where you feel like they like you, so you don't have to be a certain way. Like when we went to that gaming place that time. And you crawled under those lasers, you know, like you did it so exceptional, right? I ain't never seen you move like that ever, but you felt comfortable, right? Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, and so compared to then and now, babe, how do you think he's doing?
I think he's doing great overall. I definitely do. For the most part, we've got a game plan for how to best help him as far as with school, socially, and all those things. It's just a matter of daily working things out. So one thing I've learned with all the people that I've met and have spoken with who have similar family needs is there's never, or let me not say never, but typically it's a work in progress, right? So there's going to be times or periods in the child's life that, you know, everything is going great and excelling, and then there's going to be times where you'll have to possibly rework on some things. So it's always a process. It's not something that, oh, we've mastered this, so no, it's a work in progress. And so in each season of life, in which we know this anyway, in each season of life there are different needs. And so, for instance, right now we're gearing up to prepare him for high school as much as possible, and we're crossing over into some new territory with him. And so but so it's great. It's a learning experience. So the key for us has been to stay open as much as possible and communicate as much as possible with each other, with him, with the other kids.
And the thing is this, and I think this is just a father being for a teenager period, is that when things come, you tackle it right then and there. That's what I'm learning. Yeah. Especially with a neurodivergent child, is that you tackle it. As soon as it comes up, you tackle it. And then from his new therapist, what I've learned is when we went there is when she said be specific. Like I can generally say to my daughter, Savani, I need all of this done. And like she said, with him, you have to say, I may need all of this done, but I need you to do this within the parameters of getting all of this done. Because if you don't tell him especially what it is, if you don't tell him especially what it is, that's what it is. Yeah, he on one a day, y'all. So he doing it. He on one a day. He basically just want to do what he want to do.
Sunshine, go ahead.
It's all good, son. It's all good. So like I was saying, it's just specifically, like individually you tell him, and eventually we about to get there to just hand the mic over him, let him talk about what we want to talk about, because basically, baby, you answered that actual question.
Okay.
The next one was him navigating as a teenager.
Yeah.
And then this may be, we could ride it out because it's like maybe 2 more minutes with this one, and you can basically save it, just the fact that knowing he's on the spectrum, like overall, through the depth of the next 4 years and going into him being a young adult, what you want overall out of that as a mother?
That's a big question.
It's a big question.
That's a big question. The main thing is making sure that he is successful in school so that he can get the education that he needs. And like I said, with us going, he'll be starting a new school. The kids will be starting a new school this year. So that's probably first and foremost in our mind, is him transitioning into high school. Also, because of the way our family is set up, we're wanting to focus a little bit more on allowing him and his siblings to get involved in extracurricular activities that they want to do.
Yeah, he's playing football now.
Yeah, so he started playing football again. Yeah, so we're excited about that, but it does obviously require a lot more maneuvering and planning ahead to make sure that he's taken care of, the other kids are straight, and the family as a whole is straight. So that's the main thing that I'm looking at as far as him the next few years is being able to achieve all that. He has so many big dreams.
Yeah.
And he's just the first, right?
Yeah.
So we've got 4 others behind him. So there's so many big dreams that we want to make sure that we can help him facilitate whatever it is that he needs and wants to do.
Yeah, and that is the end of episode 17. We'll come back with you to just recap it all. This is Big Boxx.
Lil Boxx.
Thank you for watching. One life, one love, one God, be royalty.
Boxx-A-Million.
Boxx-A-Million. Boxx-A-Million.
Mighty Lion of Judah.